Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 9 books that I read in the month of October. If you're new here, how I do my reading wrap-ups is I start with the books I like the least and then I work my way up to the books I like the most. So I start with rants and then I end on raves. I had a rough October in general, but I had a rough reading month. Lots of questionable material that I've read. Okay, we're gonna get into it. If you're watching this, I'm back in real time. I was pre-filming for a few weeks there because of my endometriosis surgery, so I am back in real time for now. And I'm moving in December, so I'm probably going to be pre-filming for that as well now. So yeah, I'm not going to be settled till January on this channel, so let's just put it that way. A lot's been going on, both good and bad, so we'll see. We'll see where the rest of the year takes me, but let's get into these books here. I didn't get as much reading done as I wanted to. I only took 2 weeks off after my surgery, so I didn't get like a ton of reading done, and then I was dealing with like healing post-op stuff, so it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna like lounge around and like have, you know, the time of my life reading. I was dealing with like medical issues, so yeah. First of all, I wanted to talk about a book that I read that I did not rate because I genuinely don't know how I feel about it. It did go a little bit over my head, if I'm being completely honest, and that is Notes from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is basically just about a man who like says that he lives underground, he's very isolated, and it's him basically on this huge like ranting, rambling monologue for the first half of the book. He's very bitter, he's very sarcastic, he's self-contradictory, and it's kind of him just like ranting and rambling about like philosophy and free will, and I don't know, so much of this book kind of went over my head. Maybe I do understand it, maybe that's the point, I don't know. The second part of the book was him kind of like retelling moments of his life that kind of show his philosophy. Yeah, if I'm being completely honest, I have a really hard time reading Dostoevsky. Like White Nights was such an easy book to read and I loved it. Then I tried Crime and Punishment and that one was so-so for me. This one was kind of a miss for me, which I was expecting to really like this, but I don't know. His writing just kind of goes over my head. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm super intellectual. Like people say that I'm pretentious. I genuinely don't know how you can get that, because I feel like it's very obvious that I don't know what the fuck is going on sometimes. And this was one of those books. I will admit, maybe I did understand the main point or the main gist, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't know. Something about Dostoevsky's writing I can't fully get into. And I actually preferred Crime and Punishment. I'm just saying. I think my least favorite book that I read in October was my Patreon exclusive vlog that I did, and that was a thriller, My Sister the Serial Killer. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting this book to be as bad as it was, but guys, this was, what the hell was this? So this is a woman whose sister is a serial killer and she kills men, and now our narrator, the sister, has a crush on a doctor that she works with at the hospital, and her sister starts kind of getting involved with this guy, and like she knows what's going to happen, right? Because her sister's obsessed with killing men. Why does she kill men? I don't know. She just kills them because they're men. Why does she do anything? I don't know. It's described as like dark humor, like satire. I didn't see any of that in this book. I don't know what was humorous about it. I don't know what the point was, because nothing at all happened in this book that's not in the synopsis. Like, what I just told you is the entire book. I'm very confused. People are saying that this is a great thriller. People are saying that this is funny. People are saying that this is well written. I thought this was like one of the most terribly written thrillers I have ever read in my life. First of all, boring, nothing happened. Second of all, no purpose, no reason for anything. It's just like, oh, I am gonna go post the serial killer's like, I'm gonna post a picture on Instagram, and the sister's like, you can't, you're supposed to be mourning your boyfriend. And she's like, oh yeah. Was that supposed to be the humor in the book? I am just, what was this? Anyways, I vlogged the entire thing. It's up on Patreon. Literally one of the worst books I think I've ever read in my life. This will be in the worst books I've read of 2025 in that video that I do at the end of the year. This was... Then I decided to torture myself for a vlog on my main channel. And that was rereading the Crank series by Ellen Hopkins. These were my favorite books in middle school. I loved reading about girls doing crystal meth in middle school. I thought that it was so relatable. Where? How? How did I find these books relatable? I have no idea. I read Crank, then I read Glass, and then I read Fallout. Those were the 3 books in the series. Crank I gave 1 star, Glass I gave 2 stars, and Fallout I gave 1 star as well. So very thrilling reading month. Yeah, I was not expecting to hate them as much as I did, because like I said, I was obsessed with them in middle school, but they were so cringy. The poetry, the slam poetry style writing, the teen angst, it was comical, but also torturous at the same time. So that video I will leave linked up above and down below, because I have full spoilerly, okay, thoughts. And it was a wild time. I must admit, it was at least entertaining. Then I had two more 2-star books. Listen, this was like actually the worst reading month of my life, I think. I read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is our Patreon book club for the month of October. I will leave, my Patreon is always in the description box down below if you want to join us. The live will be done by the time you're watching this video. But this book, if you're unfamiliar, is about a doctor who investigates the paranormal, and he comes across this house that is haunted, and so he reaches out to people who have had paranormal experiences or psychic, like supernatural abilities, and he wants them to stay in this house with him to investigate. So 2 women agree, and the man who inherited the house also goes along. So we're reading about the 4 of them, and we're reading from our main character Eleanor's perspective, who, you know, just spent her life caring for her sick mother, and she is dealing with a lot of mental health issues. It's a book that explores, you know, women's mental health and loneliness and emptiness and wanting to belong. And it's one of those, is the house haunted? Is it not? Like, I'm tired of it. Honestly, I thought that this book was super boring. Do I really remember this book? No. I read it the day before I went for surgery, and I feel like the anesthesia wiped this book completely clear out of my mind. I just... I don't know how I feel about this book. It's like, do I think this is a bad book? No. Was I bored out of my fucking mind? Yes. I just had such a hard time getting through this one. not for any particular reason other than I thought that it was boring. I'm not a huge fan of like haunted houses or like is it or is it not haunted. I'm not a fan of like the slow burn gothic style writing. I just don't care. So yeah, this is very much just like me and what I particularly like in a book, and it's not this. So take my review with a grain of salt. A lot of people love this book. I just really could not get invested. Speaking of haunted house books, I read Play Nice by Rachel Harrison, which I also gave 2 stars. Rachel. Listen, I want to like Rachel Harrison. I do. I want to like her. And I thought I was going to like this book because it's about, you know, it's about a haunted house, but it's about like family and grief and family struggles and issues. And I really like that in books. I like reading about dysfunctional families and problems and drama. And so this is about a woman who inherits a haunted house from her mom who passed away. And so we're following her and her relationship with her 2 sisters and her dad and so on and so forth. So the thing about Rachel Harrison, I feel like this book started out strong for me. I got really invested into the characters and their lives, and then it just started dragging out. And nothing spooky or scary or crazy happened in this book. I mean, it's like cozy horror, right? Nothing really happened in this book until the end, and by that point I was bored out of my mind. It felt like a more watered down version of How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. It felt like that's the vibe that she was going for. I liked that book. This one I was bored out of my mind. I just could not get fully invested into the story because all of Rachel's books are the exact same. It's like, here we have a woman who's dealing with some kind of Halloween type problem, and then there's like drama, and then she falls in love with a random man, and then the end, everything is wrapped up in a nice little bow and everything's positive and happy at the end, and like, you know, she gets the man and her friendships save the day. Like, it's just very like, why do I need to keep reading Rachel Harrison when it's the exact same book over and over? That's how I feel. It's just another case of an author being forced to pump out books year after year, and they're not that good. It's another, this book will sell, so let's just push it out as quickly as we can and sell it to people. I'm sorry, like, am I wrong? I so badly want to like her books because I like the idea of sitting down with like a cozy, easy read, but I'm like, what? Give me something. Give me something. I feel like that meme where it's just like the guy's poking the rock with a stick and it's like, do something. That's how I feel when I read a Rachel Harrison book. Anyways, I'm getting into the books that I actually enjoyed now. And the first one is The Rachel Incident by Caroline O'Donoghue. So this is a literary fiction book. It's kind of like a coming of age story, and it's not really what I thought it would be, but I was pleasantly surprised. So in this book here, we are following a woman who meets this guy at her work. She works at a bookstore, and his name is James, and he's a closeted gay man, and they become best friends, and she has a boyfriend, and they kind of get involved with this professor. Like, she has a crush on this professor, right? And so James is like, oh, like, he writes books, you should invite him to the bookstore to do like a reading or whatever. And so they kind of get wrapped up in this professor's life. So we're kind of following a few different storylines, like her with her relationships, their relationship to this professor, and then her best friend relationship with James. They kind of like spontaneously move in together. I really loved this book. I loved the exploration of friendships and relationships and sexuality. I thought it was very well written, very touching and emotional. It took me a while to get through this book because it is very like slow paced, slow burn, but you do feel for these characters, you do feel the emotions, and I really just ended up loving where this went. There was a lot that I found relatable in this book, but I think a lot of people can find this book relatable. I just kind of loved learning about the progression of, you know, the few years of her life that we got throughout the book, you know, starting out with her, you know, how she met her friend and then where she ended up in present day, you know, pregnant, so on and so forth. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book and the way that it ended. Really solid read for me. And then my favorite book, this is to no one's surprise, I gave this book 5 stars. My favorite book of the month, one of my favorite books that I read all year. No one is surprised. It is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I love this book. I love this book. Is anyone surprised? No, I loved this book. I am Gatsby. I am Gatsby. I am yearning my life away just like Gatsby was. Oh, this book gutted me. I loved it so much. If you don't know, this book is about a man who kind of becomes involved with this rich neighbor that he has called Gatsby, and you know, he's always like having elegant parties and inviting all these people over, and he kind of gets wrapped up in this lifestyle, and we start learning, you know, about Gatsby's secrets and yearning and sadness behind all of the elegant fancy parties, and we learn this through the eyes of Nick, our narrator. And everything about this book, it just kept getting better and better and better, and I loved just the overall message of like, the American dream is dead, you can't relive the past, you know, it doesn't matter how much wealth and success you have, if you're not truly fulfilled emotionally, like the wealth and success and status don't mean anything, and love that's based on illusions will always collapse. Loved it, loved it. My heart, I can't even talk about this book without like wanting to cry because my heart was broken at the end of this book. So stunning. I love it. If you have any other F. Scott Fitzgerald recommendations, let me know in the comments down below. I just dropped the book on the floor, but that was it. Those were the 9 books that I read in October. Hopefully November is better to me reading wise. But yeah, let me know your favorite book that you read in the month of October. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.